bolster goes on forever.
Yeah, and you're going to also need a strap,
I got
and a Mexican blanket,
Okay,
or some
yeah.
kind of blanket.
How was your weekend, Susan?
So fabulous, so fabulous. Okay, so we can start our practice in the holy pose with either laying over the bricks or the bolster, and this is a more cushier ride. Okay, and I prefer the bricks with a little more feedback, right?
I love that expression. There's a little feedback.
A little more feedback. And
Holy cow, it's hot. It's humid out.
it's humid, yes, it's humid. And let's just start, just for a moment, just bring the soles of your feet to the floor. And once you find your happy place, gently lift your sits bones and then drag your sits bones towards your heels to release your lower back. Walk your feet in towards your buttocks. And let's just place the feet together in Baddha Konasana. So we're officially in the holy pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. And we're not here for a long time. Otherwise, we would place some support around the outsides of the thighs. If you had bricks, please feel free to take them on the outsides of the legs, or you would use the strap. That's a great idea. So let's take the bolster on top of the inner thighs, like so. And you can take your mask off as long as you're on your mat, okay? Unless you feel that you'd like to keep your mask on. Okay, cool. Good. And let's press through the outsides of the feet, spread the toes wide, and start to find your breath. Let's take a slow, smooth inhale. Feel the armpit chest start to lift. Feel the upper chest start to bloom with the breath. Slow, smooth exhale. Follow all the way through the exhale. Feel the breath pass through the lower belly area, through the sits bones. As you complete the breath, allowing the breath to travel right out through the pelvis. Slow, smooth inhale. So again, take your time with the breath, allowing each moment of that breath to unfold and connect into the next. Still rushing the breath. Feel the armpit chest lifting. And as you exhale, feel the upper collarbone area lift. So we lift even further through the exhale as we follow all the way through that breath, pressing through the outsides of the feet. Open and spread the toes wide. So allowing the breath now to start to lead the effort, the mind starts to fall away. Allowing the breath to start to create some space inside the body. Making that exhale the same length as the inhale. And if it's a little shorter, try to extend that exhale by softening the breath to extend the life of that breath. Slow and smooth. Take the hands to the elbows. Let's reach the elbows up and overhead. Gently widening the outer forearms away from the center line. See if you can start to widen the outermost armpit from the center of the armpit out to the sides. Slow and smooth, releasing the shoulders down away from the ears. Feel the lower ribs drop towards the pelvis. The sits bones grip the earth as you press through the outsides of the feet. Allowing the breath to move journey down even further by starting to pause in between both the inhale and the exhale. Slow and smooth inhale, pausing in between each breath. Pausing, lingering, see if you can start to let go into that moment of stillness before you begin that next new breath. Let's take the elbows back down, change the clasp of the hands to the elbows. Let's reach the elbows up and overhead. Gently drawing the outer forearms away from the center line of the body. That's it. Starting to let the breath lead the effort now as you widen the armpits away from the center line. From the center of the armpit out to the sides. Breathe deeply, everybody. Full body breaths. Pausing. Surrendering into that moment of stillness. So explore that moment of letting go before you begin that next new breath. Good job. Let's take the elbows back down. Let's remove the bolster off to the side. Gently lifting the left knee up and over to the right. Let's take the left hand over and gently press your left hand to come on up. And let's move the happy bricks off to the side here for a moment and swing around for child's pose. But if you're extending your arms long and your forehead does not easily come to the floor, if your body you can see, there's a sense of the head body, then place something underneath the forehead. Let's stretch the arms long. You can widen those armpits underneath by allowing the inhale to lift the upper chest. Widening through the exhale so the chest is still lifting as you follow through the exhale. Feel the lower ribs drawing down towards the hips. Gently pressing your palms to the earth. Drop your hips down. Take your left hand, thread it underneath your right, and just turn your left ear down towards the floor. Let's allow that inhale to lift the chest, creating that length from the hips to the underarms. Allowing the sides of the spine to start to open and lengthen with the breath. Breathe deeply, full body breaths. Softening the body to receive the breath. So softening that binding in your hips. Softening your sits bones down. So without letting your sits bones lift, see if you can lift through the belly and lift through the perineum. Take the left hand back to meet the right. Put the right hand underneath the left. Turn that right ear down towards the earth. Allow the breath to lead the effort now. Soften the mind. Don't allow those thoughts and energy. No feedback. Just breathing through your thoughts. The deeper you breathe, the more you activate that left prefrontal cortex. That's your feel-good center in the brain. The longer you can cultivate that pause between breaths, the better you perform under tension, under extreme duress. So breathe and pause. Breathe and let go into that moment of stillness before you begin that next new breath. Take the right hand back to meet the left. And just see if you can slide your hands down just a little further away from the hips. Breathe deeply, full body breaths. And slowly lift the hips up through the table position. And let's draw the shoulders down away from the ears and just roll the creases of your inner elbows forward. So shoulders down, 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 creases of the inner elbows forward. This takes a little bit. And if this isn't possible, feel free to turn your fingers slightly out. Get those shoulders down away from the ears and see if you can look slightly forward. Sticking your buttocks out, lift your belly. So stick your buttocks out. Really create that curvature. That spinal extension. Lift your belly, widen the backs of those thighs. If you can, see if you can spread the backs of those thighs. Good. Tuck the tailbone in and under. Let's roll one vertebrae at a time as you release the head down. Look through to the navel. Lift the belly up. Lift the belly up. Soften the upper body. You can take your sits bones down to your knees as you lift up through the belly. Releasing as you lead with your tailbone, rolling one vertebrae at a time. Let's draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Creases of the inner elbows roll forward as you look up. Pausing. And let's start to move now through the spinal waves to the rhythm of our own breath. See if you can take that moment to pause at the end of each spinal wave. That's where the fruit of your labor is. That's where the real feedback is. Maybe notice if there's a certain area that you want to quickly move through. That's a place where you want to slow things down. Trying to create a little space in that area of darkness. Breathe and move to the rhythm of your breath. This simple movement can bring moisture back into the spine. As it releases, creating space between the vertebrae, and it's releasing the nerves. Good. So that's Look off to the side. Let's take the blanket. Bring your knees onto the blanket. Let's take the block out to the right. Step your left foot out to the left. Press down through that outer left heel. Reach your left arm up and overhead. Good. So it's up to you. If you don't need the height of the block, you can take it down or up. Just find your place. Pressing through that outer left heel. Let's take the pelvis forward. Open that underarm chest. And breathe deeply. Full body breath. Pass through that outer left heel. Lift that left kneecap up. This is a lateral twist for the spine. We don't do a lot of lateral movement, so it has huge value, huge value. Slowly lift back up. Let's reach the right arm up and look up as you stretch up. Lift your belly. Right hand over to the left. Good. Lift the belly. You can release your tailbone down and forward. Take your right hand just a little further to the left. Lift that belly. Slowly lift back up. Take your left arm up, right arm up and stretch. Lift. Good. And let's come down and change sides. So we're just creating that space from the hip to the underarm. That's the ticket. That's the sides of the spine. Reaching that right arm overhead. Feel this lateral stretch for the spine as you press through that outer right heel. Lift your belly, take your pelvis forward. Breathe deeply, full body breath. So the longer you linger, the more value there is to be had. And slowly lift back up. Let's reach the left arm up and look up. So we always take an opportunity to lift and lengthen the spine from the hip to the underarm. Left hand over to the right. Breathe deeply, full body breaths. Let the breath move all the way through the body. So if you mentally think about that breath reaching your feet, you can start to feel how it creates opening along the way. Maybe feel that right sits bone. Draw over toward that left knee. Slowly come up. Let's reach and look up. Lift. Good. And let's come down. So take the strap and at some point, I'm going to ask you all to go and grab a chair quickly, all right? You're all going to go grab a chair. Yeah, and just have it open like this on the side. Great.
Oh, sorry,
So I'm just opening the strap a little bit here. And we are going to take the strap and place it around the upper legs. So that it's nice and tight. So y'all, we're taking this strap and we're placing it around the upper thighs. Tight, tight, tight if we can. It's going to come in real handy, I can assure you. And we are going to do Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward dog, with our blocks, with the strap against the wall. So there's lots of feedback, lots of feedback. So be sure that your blocks are evenly spaced to the outside of the white line so that you don't develop bad imbalances and further those imbalances. Believe me, I know, I've done it myself. So gently place your blocks just to either side of the white line and bring your hands just to the edge of the blocks. And the reason I'm using the wall is we don't want those blocks to slide away. And then let's take those feet, turning those toes in so the outsides of the feet are parallel. And let's start to drop the shoulders down to start and roll the creases of those inner elbows up towards the sky. So it takes a while for those poor shoulders to start to drop and lengthen away from the ears so we can find a little space through the sides of the neck. Feel that work of rolling the creases of the inner elbows up towards the sky. That really helps to facilitate drawing the shoulders down. Down away from the ears. And then just be conscious of pressing through the insides of your palms to create that second double action. So we're rolling the creases of the inner elbows up to externally rotate the shoulders. And as we press through the inner palms, this creates that sense of rolling those shoulders in. So there's two actions working together there. And then we're lifting the kneecaps up. Lift your kneecaps up, girls, and press those outer heels down. Break the strap. So the strap helps to really get us to work those legs. Engage those legs. Because the more you work your legs, the longer you can stay in the pose. And when we start to work from just purely a muscle action, that's just those first few minutes. The pose starts to transform and the benefits start to roll inwards and become an organic pose. So we want to be able to linger and start to wrap those muscles around the bone, supporting the skeleton. So you can feel the legs working more and more as the muscles get tighter around the bones. See if you can now imagine lifting your toes. Shoulders down away from the ears, outer heels down, kneecaps lift, upper thighs lift. Imagine lifting your toes. Very nice. Release your knees down. Good job. Good job. So, since we're here, if you need the blanket, please feel free because we're taking a squat and we're going to use the ropes to help us get the heels on the ground. So if you know that you cannot get your heels on the ground in a squat, take your blanket and have your heels so that they are supporting and the weight is in the backs of the heels. I've heard...
We're still wearing the strap on our thighs?
Keep the strap on. Yep, let's come on down and see if you can, again, use the strap. Press your heels down, lift the armpit chest up. Break the strap, press through those heels. Lift the armpit chest. Breathe deeply, ladies. Full body breaths. So Shoulders down, lift the armpit chest. Breathe, full body breaths. Lift your belly, lift the armpit chest, drop the shoulders down as you press through the heels. Pressing through your feet, see if you can slowly lift up. Good job, everybody. Let's come over to take our chair and just move your blocks off to the side here. Let's take the chair right to the wall so that it's nice and sturdy. And again, we are going to use the strap to start to work those legs. Just place your hands to your elbows and walk your feet back. Your head can lay nicely on the chair, and let's walk the feet back. Turn your toes in so the outsides of the feet are parallel. Lift your kneecaps up. Lift your kneecaps. Press through your outer heels. See if you can imagine turning your toes in even further and break the strap. Take those thighs back. So you pull the pelvis back, lengthening the sides, the front of the back body. Break the strap. So imagine pulling those outer thighs away from each other as you press through those heels, lift through your kneecaps. Lift your belly. Slowly lift the head and take your hands back to the chair as we walk. The legs in. Let's take the chairs to the floor. And so if you need a blanket to sit on, please have one nearby. Have your bolster nearby. And the determining factor to whether you need that blanket is whether or not you can just open your legs and use that strap. We're going to make sure by taking the hands behind the lower back so that you have that concave lower back. If you cannot sit with that slat curvature, then you need to sit a little higher. That's it. Now see if you can just make those legs longer and longer. So that's it. You got it. Let's take the hands just slightly behind, fingertips to the floor, bend your elbows, squeeze your inner shoulder blades together. Let's make those legs longer and longer. Lift your belly, break the strap. Make those legs longer, girls. Push those heels out. See if you can now take the bolster and place it on top of your thighs. So I roll the bolster so that it's to the highest part, and just take your elbows and just press your elbows down into the bolster. Make those legs longer and longer. So make those legs long. Straighten your legs, girls. That's it. Lift your belly. You're getting a little detox there, Allie. Atta girl. Yeah.
I am detoxing.
Yeah, a little sweat helps. Good girl. This looks really easy, but you can start to feel the heat coming from the inside. This is what moisturizes the joints. It's what is recommended, is to create that heat from the inside. So press those through that upper chest. Good job. Make those legs longer and longer. Press those thighs down now, girls. Press those thighs down. So we want to resist allowing the toes to turn out. That's the dead cowboy, right? We want those toes at the very least heading straight up. Maybe even turning slightly in so you can feel your inner thighs. So let's just take the bolster and the strap off for a moment here. So just move your strap off. And just come back here and let's see how I move the sit bones and open the back of the leg. We're also creating a slight internal rotation right at the very top here, right at the pubic bone area. So feel those inner thighs, draw in and back, lift the belly, make those legs long. So the top of the thighs draw straight down. Push those thighs down. Push the backs of those thighs down. Good job, everybody. Good job. Let's bend that right leg. Good. And just open that left leg out to the side. Take your brick to your inner left ankle. Flex your left foot. Take your left hand on top of the brick. Now, press your hand down as you push that block away. Good. So we're keeping the left side of the body open. Flex that left foot, toes straight up. Don't let the toes turn out to the side. So create some action in the inner leg. The top of the thigh draws down. And we're lifting up, up, up. Let's take the right arm straight up and over. Lift the belly, lift, lift, lift. Breathe deeply here. So if you can, push that hand down into the block. Move that block away. Breathe deeply. Full body breaths. Press that right hand. Breathe to create that space from the inside. See if you can take your left elbow to your inner left thigh and open that right arm even further. Good job. Let's slowly come back up. And I feel like a miracle. Okay, well since we're here, let's take that left leg over the right. So you may want to sit higher. If you can, you are welcome to sit on a bolster, just stacking the knees. If you want to come off your blanket, whatever creates that root for you. And I sat for a long time on the bolster because that just is where I got the most feedback. Flex your feet. So the more we flex the feet, engaging the feet helps to engage the shins to protect the knees because we don't want to create that stretch in the knees. This is a hip stretch, and the more you lift, feel the belly lift, lift, lift. Reaching your arms up. Lift, lift, lift. Fold forward, but keep that spinal extension. So only go as far as you can. Keep that spinal extension. Lift the chest. Lift the belly, lift the perineum. viewership, we are focusing on breathing, maintaining the proper alignment. Good. And then let's slowly come up, so try to lift up. Yes. Good job, girls. So just gently extend your legs long here for a moment, please. Let's flex the feet. So if you feel that in your knees, if you have knee pain, it's always a good idea just to get a sense of how the kneecap is gently moving up and down to the sides. And if you find a place that there's really restricted movement, that's indicating that maybe you want to start to be aware of that knee, start to move it in the direction that it doesn't want to go in gently over time. And then focusing whenever you're doing poses by lifting the kneecaps up to strengthen the muscles around the knees. That's going to go a long way. Because we don't want to stretch the knees. Knees don't stretch. We're stretching the hips here. Good. Let's bend the right leg and just take the left leg out to the side. So I did the same side twice. So do not criticize the body for that action. It just goes to the side that's done already because it will be easier, right? So we want the body to take the path of least resistance most of the time. Let's put that palm and press it down. Push your block away. And let's see where we go here. Press that right thigh down. Remember when we were talking about the kneecaps? So lift that right kneecap up. Good. Lift the left kneecap up. So we're just gently creating that action, trying to lift the kneecaps, left arm up and over. Good. Allow the breath to lift the upper chest. See if you can lift through the collarbone area on the exhale. So lift even further up. On your exhale, press down through that right thigh to create that momentum of lifting up. Maybe push that block just a little further away. Make that right leg longer and longer. So slowly over time, you can start to feel these tiny little changes take place. And all we need to do is stay with that breath. Don't let that thought take away energy to the effort here. So if you can, bring your right elbow to your inner right thigh and maybe open that left arm even further. That's it. Open up. Take that left hand even further to the right. Good. Breathe deeply. Make that right leg long. Make it long. That's it, Allie. Good job. Intelligize that right leg by making it longer and longer. Strengthening the kneecap by lifting that kneecap up, lifting the skin of the kneecap and the upper thigh up, up, up. Reaching through the heel. Good. Let's slowly come back up. Let's take the right leg on top of the left. Flex your feet. So one side may be significantly better than the other. Maybe they're similar. It's just an observation, nothing more. Good. So lift from your sits bones. Lift, lift, lift. Try to find that spinal extension, that concave lower back without poking your lower ribs out. So in the back of the body, those back ribs are drawing back and up. Lifting through the armpit chest. Let's reach the arms up here. Lift and lengthen. So we're using the side transverse muscles that wrap around the spinal column to create that lift and length in the spine, to create that spinal extension. And we're lifting from the sits bones. Lift, lift, lift. Just a little higher if you can. Really lift from your sits bones. Press those sits bones down to lift up. And let's hinge forward. So the effort comes from the crease in the hip, not from the upper spine. So we do our best to maintain that spinal extension. Just do what you can. Lift the belly, bringing the nose a little further forward. Breathe to create freedom, to create that freedom in both the mind and the body. That nose a little further up and forward. Good. Let's slowly lift back up. So come back down to the floor, ladies, or onto a blanket. Let's take the happy feet together into Baddha Konasana. And we have our bolster nearby here. And we have our chair. I think the chair is hugely valuable in this pose. And I'll show you why. Because it really allows us to linger a little bit if you can get it right. So just give yourselves a little patience here. It may be your first time trying this pose as we start to progress. So take your feet as much as you can towards your buttocks. Take your hands behind and lift, lift, lift. Lifting, coming as close to your heels as you can. And you can see I'm trying to reach my happy nose as far forward as I can get it. Imagining reaching the nose. Maybe press your elbows down. Again, lift the belly, lift the crease of the armpit, chest. Press through those heels. So the first few moments in the pose can be a little tough. Just do what you can. That's it. So this pose really has some profound efforts on all of your other poses. So the rest of your yoga practice. It's one of those essential poses. I've heard my yoga teacher tell people that if their knees are flying super high, to practice this pose and then come back when their knees drop. Nothing more. Okay, so let's figure out how to get into the groin and the hips here in a productive way. So we take the happy bolster, and this took me a while. So y'all, if you're doing this at home or, whatnot, just give yourself the effort of trying to drop completely onto this left side. So you can see I'm allowing all the weight to drop onto this left side of the bolster, and that left elbow is forward, the torso is forward, and then by the grace, I have the happy chair to rest, my head rests gently, because if we can linger here for a little bit, we can start to make some nice change. We can open the hip line as well as create some length of the left side of that spine. So try and keep that left elbow and torso forward, and we're looking up slightly. And then let's think about taking that left sits bone over to the right knee. So drag that left sits bone to the right knee, the right knee down. So the more you surrender onto the bolster, letting the weight drop into the bolster, the better. Of course, if your torso were laying on your inner left thigh, you would not need the bolster. If you were a lot more open, but we just work with where we are today. So the more you let your torso drop onto the bolster, the better. And now, let's take the right sits bone to the left knee. Right sits bone, so drag that right sits bone over to the left knee. Let's see if you can lift up through your perineum. Lift up through the perineum. That's the space between the crack of the buttocks and your organ. So the longer you are here, the better. Today, we're just here for a good time, not a long time, as we slowly come up. So if you like the chair and you found the chair helpful, you can use the chair. Sometimes it's a hindrance.
How is the chair helping?
Well, it can support your head. You can let your head drop onto the chair. That's all right. Okay, let's go. Let's take the bolster, ladies, and try to get that right elbow forward. And you see how I'm letting that happy head drop onto the chair. You got it. Shelf is good. Looking ridiculously happy. So, Ali, see how I patted my bolster back? See if that helps at all. Hi, girl. Nice. Nice. Let that weight drop into the bolster. Let the bolster press that right back. And let's take that right sits bone over to the left knee. So as you take that right sits bone to the left knee, drop the left knee down. Drop that left knee down. Right sits bone to the left knee. Drop that left knee down. Take your left sits bone over to your right knee. Now lift through your perineum. Nicely done, ladies. Let's slowly lift the head off the chair. Let's come on up here. Let's bring everything off to the side. So that twist the spine. So let's cross the ankles here. And we're going to take a happy downward dog. So draw those shoulders away from the ears, roll the creases of those inner elbows forward, spread your hands as wide as you can, and press through the index and thumb knuckles, so the inner palms, as you roll the creases of the inner elbows forward. So keep and everything is nicely aligned with the feet. Shoulders away from the ears. Press to the balls of the feet. Lift your kneecaps, lift your upper thighs. Good job. So keep your hips high. Don't let those hips drop. Let's take the heels a quarter of the way down. Lift your hips. Heels all halfway down. Lift your hips. Let's take the outer heels to the floor so those kneecaps are lifting, lifting, lifting. Hips high, shoulders down away from the ears. Breathe deeply here. Let's walk the hands to the feet. And we're going to take our feet and legs right to the wall in Uttanasana. So if you need your blocks because you can't bring your hands to the floor, just grab your blocks. Let's take the heels right back to the backs of the legs, or right back. And this gives you an opportunity to see where the line is so that it dissects right at the pubic bone. Let's turn those happy feet so the outsides of the feet are parallel. So turn the toes in, turn the balls of the feet in so the outer feet are parallel. Feel those kneecaps lift. Take those thighs straight back. And lift your belly, lift your chest up and over the thighs. And then again, hinge forward. Lift those kneecaps, lift those upper thighs. Thighs back. See if you can open your heels even further. So make your heels wider than the baby toes. Let's walk those hands forward into downward dog. Keep your heels on the ground as long as you can. Shoulders down, away from the ears. So keep those heels on the ground. Walk those hands forward into Adho Mukha Shavasana. Lift your kneecaps, lift your upper thighs. Good. Let's bring the knees to the floor. Let's come down onto the belly here. Let's bring the right elbow forward so that the forearm is parallel to the front of the mat. And let's bend the left leg. So just make sure that that knee isn't sticking out too far. And point your toes so that the ball of the foot is facing straight up. Try and grab your ankle, and then let's press that left foot. Let's press the forearm. Yes. It's a great stretch, isn't it? Holly, you're out there. Do you have a cramp there, lovely?
Yes.
Anything I can do?
Oh,
no. So imagine the toes heading straight up. And you're pressing that ankle into the hand, pressing the forearm, lifting up, shoulders down. Good. Change sides. Bring your left forearm forward. It's harder than it looks this one, isn't it? Let's point the toes. Take your ankle. Toes up to the sky. Let's press that foot and ankle into the hand. Press the ball. Elbow and forearm as you lift up. Breathe deeply, full body rest. Good. Let's release. Let's bring the forehead to the floor. Bend the left leg and take your left hand to your left ankle again. Let's reach the right arm forward and lifting your right leg. See if you can lengthen that right leg from behind your right buttocks, your right pelvic girdle. Looking straight down, let's lift the head, lift the right arm, and let's lengthen that right arm from the bottom of that right shoulder blade. So lengthen the right arm, lengthen the right leg, lift the belly. Breathe deeply, looking straight down. Let's release. And let's take the right hand to the right ankle. Reaching your left arm forward. Bring the forehead to the floor, lift the left leg, and lengthen that left leg from behind your left buttocks, that left pelvic girdle. So looking straight down, lengthen that left leg, let's lift the head, lift the left arm, and let's lengthen the left arm from the bottom of that left shoulder blade. Create that length through the left side. Breathe deeply, full body rest, breathe, breathe, breathe. Good job, everybody. Let's slowly release. Let's take the hands to the lower ribs. Gently press yourself back and up. Let's bring the knees wide. To release the lower back, let's bring the bolster between your inner thighs and take it to the higher level. And let's fold over and just bring your right cheek to the bolster. So you can see I'm completely supported by the bolster. The whole torso is surrendering. The right cheek is on the bolster. So breathe right up into those cervical vertebrae. Feel the inhale, touch the back of the neck. Then follow through your exhale. Feel the breath come right into that lower belly area. Bring the left cheek to the bolster. Again, breathe right up into the cervical vertebrae, right up into the back of the neck. Following through the exhale, so feel the release that comes through this part of the breath as you let the hips soften. Good, let's slowly lift the head, lift the chest. Let's move bolster off to the side, and we're just taking the strap for a few moments to do a little bit of strap work. Just a little bit of strap work. So if you need light behind the back of the head, please feel free. For practice and demonstrating, I might just move the blanket off to the side, but let's take our heels right to the floor. And we're starting in a supine tadasana, so press through your heels. Supine. Press those heels to the wall. Press your heels to the wall. Let's interlace the palms and reach your palms overhead. Let's stretch here. Lengthen. Stretching the spine, removing the memory of any twisting that may be lingering, the imbalance. Let's take the hands behind the back of the right thigh as we draw the thigh into the chest. Press to the back of the left heel into the wall, left thigh to the floor. Let's tuck that right sits bone in and under to draw that right thigh even closer to the chest. Scooping that right sits bone in and under, and at the same time, press through the left heel. See if you can do those two actions together. Pressing through the left heel and tucking the right side of the pelvis in and under. Lift through the belly. Take the strap now around the ball of the right foot in two hands. In two hands. Bring your elbows and the outer forearms to the floor and press those forearms down to lift the chest. So this is a back bend. Let's draw that right sits bone to the left knee. So pull that right sits bone to the left knee. Right leg straight, left leg straight. Pull that right sits bone to the left knee. Continue that action. So the kneecaps are lifting. And we're slowly allowing that right sits bone to drop towards that left knee as we lengthen the right side of the spine from the underarm to the hip. Drawing that right hip down, down, down. So in Supta Padangusthasana, we don't want that right hip lifting and that head of the femur bone sticking out. We want to create that rotation around the head of this right femur bone. Draw the right sits bone to the left knee. And now let that right hip be heavy as you reach through the right heel, even further intelligizing that right leg. So if your bolster is not to the outer right hip, just take your bolster over to the other side like I just did. And you want this bolster so it's supporting that outer right hip. And we take the strap, both ends of the strap in the left hand. Reach your right arm as long as you can, reaching for that strap or maybe the big right toe knuckle, whichever. Take your left arm out to the T position. And without letting this left side of the body leave the ground, so start to cut the floor like a knife with that left side body. Open the right leg out to the side. So we're using this left side to stabilize as we open. Push through that left heel. So that action of being able to lengthen through that left leg and make it longer and longer helps to create that action of cutting the floor with the left side body. Reach through the right heel. Breathe deeply, full body breaths. Reach through your heels, lengthening the legs. So this is one of those poses that we should do every single day of our life. Every single day of your life. Let's slowly lift the right leg back up, keeping your right hip on the ground. Take your right leg slightly to the left. That's it. Lengthen those legs by making those legs longer and longer. Take your right leg back to center. Let's gently release the right leg just to check in and see where we're at. Let's put the strap off to the side for a moment. Right leg to the wall to meet the left. Let's interlace the palms and reach the palms overhead. Lengthen. Press your heels. Maybe one side feels longer than the other. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Press those heels. Lengthen, lengthen. Let's take the bolster over the top of the body to the left side body. Take your hands behind the back of that left leg. And draw the left thigh into the chest. So if you've lost that connection with the right heel to the wall, you can just scooch a little further forward. And let's make that right leg long. Make it long. Take the back of the right thigh to the floor, lift through the right kneecap. Let's tuck the left side of the pelvis in and under as we push through the right leg. Doing those two actions, that union is the yoga. See if you can do those two actions together in unison. Starting to unite the entire body as one with that common purpose. Breathe to bring that transformation forward. Breathe to create space. And not only the body, but also to bring happiness, joy, through opening that left side of the brain, lighting up that prefrontal cortex. Let's take the strap around the left leg now, the left foot. Two hands to the strap. Forearms on the floor. Pressing through those forearms to lift the chest. Let's press that right heel. Lift your left kneecap, lift your left thigh. And let's take that left sit bone to the right knee. Left sits bone to the right knee, press through that right heel. So again, we don't want to be pulling on the strap so that we are lifting the left hip and furthering that action of letting that hip stick out. So we want that active rotation, rotating around the head of that finger bone, participating. Drawing that left sit bone actively to the right knee. Let's let the left hip be heavy now. And as the hip drops, reach through the left heel. Feel that intelligizing as the leg becomes even more active. it will just only aggravate the SI joint. Breathe. Let your mind be still. Don't allow the mind to give you any unnecessary feedback. So we take both ends of the strap in the right hand and reach your left arm as far as you can, and that left foot as far as you can to the left foot. If you can easily grab the left toe, by all means. But for today, let's take the right arm out to the side into the T position, keeping that right leg active, the right side of the body firm to the ground. Let's open the left leg out to the side. Breathe, everybody. Let the breath come into that pelvic floor area. This is the #1 disease center du jour for both genders. So anything that we can do to open this area and create circulation is for the best. So cutting the floor with that right side, participating on the right side of the body as we open the left leg out to the side. Breathe, everybody, full body breaths. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Nicely done. Let's slowly take that left leg back up through center. Without lifting the left hip, take the left leg to the right. Good job. Take your left leg back through center. Let's bend that left leg. One more time. Let's reach the arms overhead. Take the left leg to wall to meet the right. And let's extend, lengthening, stretching, like pushing your heels and lengthening your hands in the opposite direction. Let's take the hands to the thighs as we draw the thighs into the chest, and just take a moment here and rock from side to side, releasing through your lower back and hips. Let's open the arms out to the T position and drop your knees to the left. Take your left hand on top of the right thigh. Let's inhale, lift the chest away from the hips, and as you exhale, gaze over to the right. Breathe, don't let your mind start to become active. Just breathe through your thoughts. Release that left hand, lift your knees up through center, take your knees over to the right. Place your right hand on top of your left thigh. Inhale, lift the chest away from the hips. Exhale as you gaze to the left. Let's take the left hand over to the right, and releasing your right hand, slide your left hand past your right to release the upper back. Let's take the left hand to the floor, gently press yourself up here. Let's take our blanket with us. Bring our buttocks, cheeks to the wall. So you slide your buttocks right to the wall. So both buttocks, cheeks are against the wall. And I have my happy blanket here. Let's take the legs up the wall. And just again, reach the arms overhead, push up through your heels. Just removing the nervous twist from the spine. And then just release your arms out to the sides. You can take a moment and slightly tuck the shoulder blades in and under. So this can often substitute for a shavasana. Bringing the legs up the wall has huge value. It recharges the batteries of the central nervous system.
That's good for varicose veins.
It is very good for varicose veins. In fact, when I was in Jamaica, one of the ladies that was looking after my room had real pain in her legs. And her name was Winnie, and I told her to take her legs up the wall 3 times a day. Pain gone. Needless to say, a lot of the issues in those veins are relieved. So it really does help the legs, and allowing the fluids to reverse and flow in an opposite direction can do wonders for the vessels, to clear things. And you can feel there is a sense of well-being that comes to you in this pose, yet the body isn't quite relaxed. It's not quite in a resting state. But 20 minutes in this pose can rewrite your day, can rewrite everything that is not right. That's the best way. So if you have any blood pressure issues, then I would suggest laying your legs down and just laying flat for a few moments. Otherwise, we can just come out of the pose by bending the legs and rolling over to one side. Let's take that bolster and come and sit on the bolster. And let's feel the value of all this yoga and feel the length in the spine from those happy sit bones as we sit tall. Bring your fingies to the bolster, elbows back, lift the arm to chest. As happy yogis do. So just take a moment in this stillness. Just feel the peace that you've worked so hard to create. Feel how present you feel. And without losing the length from the hips to the underarms, without losing that tall spine, let's take the hands to prayer. And take a moment now and thank yourself for this wonderful effort to bringing something new and letting go of whatever it is you no longer need. Just leaving that here on your mat. Thank you all. Namaste. Great job, girl.